Do you know, despite the best effort and intention of the project team, many projects fail to meet their objective. As per the study done by the McKinsey Group, 98% of the EPC projects fail to meet their initial objective in terms of timeline or cost. If you go further down, on an average of these projects, 80% of the cost increase from the initial budget allocation. Also, many of these projects are delayed by more than 20 months. Huge, isn't it? But do you know why this project failed? And more importantly, what is the difference between a failed project and the projects who are meeting their objective in terms of timeline and cost? Well, the answer lies in good project control. If you are studying to manage the project cost and timeline, then chances are you are not giving the proper effort in terms of project control, or you may not be having an initial project control plan set up for your project. Hi everyone, welcome to our channel, and if you're new here, myself Vijay, your go-to expert for all your stuff related to project management, and in this video we are going to deep dive into the project control. So what exactly the project control is? Well, if something bad is going to happen on your project, it is going to impact either your cost or timeline, and all project managers are aware about this concept. That's why they spend more of the time identifying and planning those risks so that they can mitigate those impacts of cost and time. However, project manager has a bigger function to play, and that's why we need a dedicated project control function to work on those risks related to the cost and schedule. So, as the name implies, project control is basically the function which controls the projects and safeguard the project from increase of the budget as well as increase in the timeline or delay in your project. Project control is a process that encompasses the resources, procedure, tools for monitoring and controlling all the phases of the project lifecycle. This includes estimating costs, schedule management, risk management, change management, earned value processing, and forecasting. So, project control is basically an iterative process to measure the project status, forecasting the likely outcome based on the project data, and the improved project performance. There are several definitions provided by the project management knowledge body. Let's see those definitions and understand what exactly the project control is. So, according to the project management body of knowledge, project control consists of the data collection, management, and analysis process used to predict and constructively influence the time and the cost result of the project or program by communicating the information in a format that supports effective management and decision making. Similarly, as per the Association of Project Management, the project control is defined as the application of processes to measure the project performance against the project plan to enable the variance to identify and correct it so the project objectives are achieved. Also, as per the AAC practice standard, cost control is application of procedure to monitor expenditure and performance against the progress of the project or manufacturing operation to measure the variance from the authorized budget and allow the effective action to be taken to achieve the minimum cost. So, project control is basically sets of tool, process, and skill which are combined together to provide right information at the right time for a project manager to make the right decision. So, project control is all about controlling three flows: the flow of resources, flow of information, and financial flow. So basically, it ensures the projects overcome the common obstacle like inaccurate forecasting, manual data input or storage error, improper resource allocation, misplaced budget, schedule optimism, lacking enough data to make the informed decision. So by hearing those information and definition which we discussed previously, it seems like project management is similar as project control. And there is no clear definition between the project control and project management. It seems like project management is project control. Well, in simple terms, project management is not the project control. So there are several differences between project control and project management, but here I am going to refer only three key differences which will help you to differentiate between project control and project management. So the difference number one, project control is basically focused on controlling project schedule and project cost, whereas project management is all about managing overall project. Second difference, the project manager owns the whole project, whereas project controller owns the project schedule as well as the project cost. So it is responsibility of the project controller to control the project cost and project schedule, whereas the project manager is going to look after overall project management responsibility. Now, the third difference, project controller actually provides the right information at a right time to the project manager so that project manager can take the right decision. It's not the project controller who take the decision. It is a project manager who take the decision based on the information provided by the project controller, and that's how the project manager owns the overall project, and whereas project controller owns the project cost and project schedule. So the very next question would be, if project management is not project control, then where does the project control work in a project hierarchy organization? Where does actually the project controller fits in a project organization chart? Well, project control function works in a matrix environment where project controller reports formally to more than one manager. These reporting lines can be formed what is known as solid line or a dotted line reporting relationship, where projects reports to the PM as well as project director. The project controller plans should outline the people, project control processes and system required to integrate the core element of a project. And so, for this very reason, project control professionals should be involved at very early stage of the project, which I find that many of the project controllers are being on very late at the stage of the project, and that's why it's become sometimes very difficult to control the cost and the time schedule, because we have actually passed the time of those early warning period where we can have the opportunity to mitigate those costs and the schedule of the project. So once you know about the project control definition, where does the project control lies in project organization chart, and what is actually the role of project controller, the next question may be coming in your mind: what kind of tools and techniques which is specifically used by the project controller to control the project schedule or the project cost? Well, there are several project control techniques which are available in the market and also utilized depending upon the various industry. However, in this video, I'm going to discuss 7 project control techniques which are utilized by the project controller, and those techniques are very simple but very powerful when it's come to the controlling the project cost and project schedule. So, the tip number 1 is work breakdown structure, which is also known as WBS. It is always advisable to break the scope of the work into the smaller package of the task so that it's easily verification of the progress can be done. From the project control perspective, it is much easier to detect or delay or trouble tasks by looking at the WBS. Also, it helps in easy identification of the tasks which are impacted due to the delays. So, early identification can be done by utilizing this work breakdown structure. So, as far as work breakdown structure is concerned, it is always advisable to break the scope of work into the smaller package of the task, which helps the easy verification of the progress. From the project control perspective, it is much easier to detect the delayed or trouble task by looking at the WBS. Also, it helps in easy identification of the task which impacts the delay. Next technique is project baseline. These are the very fundamental to any project control techniques and very much useful when it's come to the controlling cost and time. So, the project baseline is basically a fundamental control principle is to first establish a cost and schedule baseline, then measure the report a performance based on this baseline and maintain it. So this baseline basically helps to identify the variation in the schedule or in the cost throughout the timeline or throughout the progress of the project, and with comparison you can find out what is the delta, and that's really helps a lot to all the team members that where the project is deviated in terms of cost or in terms of the timeline. Next technique is project status meeting. Consistent and regular status meeting helps to improve everyone accountable and held responsible for the work assignment. Also, the status meetings are the powerful tool for improving the project communication and managing expectation. After project status meeting, the next technique is project gate review. Project gate reviews are the gate review that are the key techniques for ensuring the quality and managing the expectation of the project and deliverables. Basically, it's provide the opportunity to the team to review the required deliverable for completing the phase in achieved manner or before it's moved to the next phase of the project. Then the next technique is tracking milestone, which is key and most known technique available across all the industry. So it is use of the predefined milestone and checkpoint to ensure a better project control and early warning of the risk. These markers are important point to stop, report, and then review the key issues and confirm that everyone is still on board, which verify the project should proceed at next stage or not. Then the next technique is formal sign-off. Formal sign-off are the key aspects of the change control management. The formal record of review and acceptance of given deliverable helps to keep the expectation aligned and minimize a potential dispute. Also, the use of formal sign-off act as an extra incentive to make sure the appropriate stakeholders are actively engaged in the work of the project and they all are satisfied. The last technique is called the V method, which is basically validation and verification. The V method is a term used for a common validation and verification approach that ensures there is a validation and verification step for every deliverable and interim deliverables created. The left side of the V notes each target deliverable and the right hand side of the V notes basically lists the verification method which is to be used for each deliverable for directly across. So with all those techniques of the project control, it's very important to put the right emphasis on the project control itself while project is in execution. It's very important to implement the right process and right tool where project controller can utilize those to find the right balance between the project and cost schedule. This will help them to control your project and schedule within the limited budget and limited timeline. Remember, behind every successful or unsuccessful project, it's a people, process and tool which works around the clock and bring you the success, not only for your project, for your whole company itself. So make sure you are deploying the right project controller with the right tool and the right sets of processes. Thanks for watching this video and always keep pushing forward. And don't forget to put your comment if you have any question or any help you require from our team. We are always there to help you out. Remember, in your project management journey, you are not alone. We are here to help you out so that we together can succeed in your project management journey. So until next time, stay sharp and stay focused and let's achieve the success of your project together. Bye for now.